The Annapolis Fall Sailboat Show is coming up quick. It's in October this year and it's going to be lit. This is the cruising sailboat paradise, not to mention the new boats and vendors and sailing celebrities. Let me tell you why. Annapolis Fall Sailboat Show is kind of the center of the sailing universe every October. Sailors and vendors and manufacturers from all around the world rain down on Annapolis like nowhere else in the world. And what's especially important is that it's more than just a sailboat show. It's cruisers mile marker zero. Let me explain. When people want to go sail in the Caribbean, they normally won't jump off of mainland US until November because it's hurricane season down in the islands. Insurance companies won't allow it, and for those who aren't insured, it's just bad business to go sail with the hurricanes. So everybody gathers on the east coast of the US waiting for November, and the safest place and most convenient place to gather is Chesapeake Bay, where Annapolis is. Annapolis is like any East Coast fishing village, very historic and beautiful, cobblestone with different color houses, but it also houses the Naval Academy, so it's steeped in military tradition, museums and things like that. It's also home to some of the best sailboat parts shopping to outfit your boat, some of the best sailboat racing, and home base for thousands of sailors. And every October, the town basically centers around the boat shows. First it's the sailboats, and then it's the less sophisticated boats later on. So that fills the whole place up with cruisers. The anchorages go for miles up every river and cut all around Annapolis, and they'll all be absolutely full of cruising boats loaded down with jerry cans and Starlink dishes. It is a beautiful thing. And everyone goes to the show. The show is stuffed to the gills with vendors and boat makers showing off all their stuff. New boats get released here in Annapolis, and the latest sailing gadgets are all getting shown off. You could spend a whole day just exploring the vendor tents. But one tent in particular interests a lot of people. The Cruising Content Creators Tent. It used to be called the YouTube tent. Annapolis has long been the meeting place for people who make cruising content. We've got Distant Shores, Lauren Landers, MJ Sailing, The Rigging Doctor, Ryan and Sophie, Fair Isle, Gypsy, Parlay Revival, my personal favorite, SV Delos, Zingaro, Sam Holmes, and so many more. I don't know about you guys, but I am so stoked to meet all of these folks, especially Delos, because it's kind of them who sucked me into this whole sailing YouTube atmosphere anyway. And don't get me started on the sailboats. A full list is available on the Annapolis Sailboat Show website, as well as a map of the show with each dock, so you'll be able to see where every boat is parked and you can kind of plan your route through the show. But the boats that caught my eye this year, the Allures 39 is one of them. This is an all-aluminum cruiser with an integral centerboard, meaning the centerboard's part of the structure of the boat. Sail magazine said, aluminum boats that carry true integral centerboards and can take the ground with impunity have long been popular with French cruisers. However, until recently, they've gained very little traction in the United States. But this is starting to change as the French sort of mini conglomerate Grand Large Yachting, which owns two of these builders, Garcia and Allures, has pushed to gain them some exposure in the US. The debut of the 39-9 at the 2016 US Annapolis Sailboat Show was part of that effort. Though it shares many attributes with a lot of other boats of this type, the 39-9 has some very cool features that you'll have to check out. I don't care what type of sailboats that you like, aluminum boats are awesome, and I can't wait to get aboard this one. Balance will also be there with some cutting-edge catamarans, the 502 and the 580. These guys are making a name for the way they make boats. It's like a supercar. The way they make a supercar is usually a carbon fiber tub that everything else sort of bolts onto. And Balance has started to do the same thing with cats. They make this carbon fiber framework and then build the rest of the boat around it. This is such cool technology, and I can't wait to explore these Balance cats. I want to open every locker and see all the amazing carbon fiber work they did inside. Beneteau is, of course, one of the biggest exhibitors at this show with VIP tents and lots of boats. But of interest this year are a couple of new and very important boats. Veneto basically owns the cruising boat segment of the market with the most boats built and sold, so when they release a new 40 or 50 footer, we need to pay attention. For 2025, they're bringing the all-new Oceanus 47 and 52. These are peak cruising sailboats and what the market will be flooded with used versions of in about 15 years, so we need to pay attention to these two boats. Catalina is bringing a bunch of the 6 Series boats. These are the new ones. And the one you should really look at is the 356. It's the smaller one of the lot, but being a mid-30 footer, it's selling very, very well right now. And we should be seeing them in every marina in North America over the next 10 years. Get used to this boat because it is not going away. Next up, the Good Hope 65 by Ed Joy Designs. These are expeditionary yachts meant to sail the whole world without limit. Lifting keels on boats built with redundancy and simplicity and ruggedness. This will be such a cool boat to get on and poke around because they're so rare to be seen sort of parked anywhere. More likely you're going to see them on the news as the first boat to sail to some awful place no one wants to go, like the South Pole. A personal favorite of mine, the Far 40. You won't usually see these at the Annapolis show. This is a race boat that I adore and admire, and the folks over at the sailing school Oak Cliff Sailing have several of these Far 40s. They're bringing one to Annapolis, presumably to promote their excellent sailing academy, so it'll be so cool to see a Far 40 sitting at a dock. Usually I only get to see them with their rail in the water flying past me at Mach 3. Halberg Razzie is always at this show, and this year is no exception. If you want to see how the other half live, they'll have the 340 and her big sister, the 44, on for the show. These are the cream of the crop cruising boats built to spare no expense, and getting on one is always a treat. And speaking of treats, Moody will have the DS48 on display. Get on this thing and count how many times your mouth says, wow. They're designing this boat to look and feel more like a high-end power yacht, a baby super yacht, because they say too many rich people are buying motor yachts, so they should buy this instead because it feels and looks and acts like a rich motor yacht, but it's still a sailboat, and I'm inclined to agree. These are magnificent, and getting more people sailing, even rich people, is a good thing. Oh, and speaking of super yachts, Nodder Swan will be swinging for the fences this year. They're bringing the Swan 78. They say all of Nodder's know-how and experience in racing and cruising yachts has been incorporated into the new Blue Water Swan 78, a direct descendant of their original Swan 80 and 82 models from the past. This boat's slightly shorter overall in order to meet the EC 24-meter length limitation, but it's beamier and more powerful. The modern hull lines, including a wide stern above the waterline, twin rudders, and a racing-oriented keel, are a reflection of the rapid evolution of yacht design over the past years, propelled by experiences made on their round-the-world races and other offshore events. The new boat is faster, safer, easier to control, and as a result, more comfortable at sea. This boat will be a showstopper, so if you want to get on it, go to it early. And speaking of early, some Annapolis Sailboat Show advice for you. I go every year, so hopefully some of my mistakes will help you. Go early. I go to the website and check out all the boats, and I make a short list of the boats I really want to see. And then when I go to the show, I go on the first public day, usually the Thursday, and show up before the gates open. And when I get in, I beeline to the biggest boat on my list. The bigger boats mean busier. Then I see the second biggest boat, and so on. Once I've seen all my target boats, I head for lunch and then try to crawl through the vendor tents the rest of the day. On day 2, usually Friday or Saturday, it's more about wandering aimlessly and seeing the sights and whatever boats I missed. I love to get on the water taxi boats too, slip the captain a couple bucks and kick back while he drives people around all day up all the cuts and rivers around Annapolis. By the water is the best way to see all the cruising boats that are moored and anchored out. These folks are headed south, and the boats they live on are out in the harbor. They are the real sailboats of this show. I love seeing the arches and davits and enclosures and other cruising modifications. It's so much fun. I'll be headed to the show too. I've never been in the content creator section before. I always prefer to wander around the show. But this year I sent Annapolis an email and I asked them if I can be in the YouTube section. I suspect they might say no because I'm just a sailing dude on YouTube and I'm not a live cruiser, but we'll see. Either way, I will be at the show for several days this year, and I hope I can see you guys there. Stop me so that we can have a chat. Just don't buy me a drink. I've been alcohol-free for 2 years, 2 months, and 20 days. I'm also thinking about taking my Hobie cat down there so I can sail around all the rivers in Annapolis. I think that would be a super cool way to see sort of all the cruising boats that are anchored out ripping around on a Hobie cat. So if you want to get down on that, let me know. A huge shout out here to the people who make these videos possible. Patrons who give as little as a couple of bucks an episode. I truly couldn't make these without you. If you want to help me get more people sailing, get more people into this beautiful sport of ours, please consider becoming a patron. Until next week, friends, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. We'll see ya.